Welcome to FBB Forum. My name is David, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow the FBB Forum Instagram page and YouTube page. The links are listed in the comments. And I want to thank my friend, the awesome Women's Physique Pro, Eunice Martinez Kitchen from Bad Rap, for recommending my next guest for this podcast interview, and thank you. I'm very pleased to welcome the amazing CPA, natural and physique athlete, I should say CPA natural figure and physique athlete, Correna Barthel, also known as Kiki, to the podcast. Kiki lives in Winnipeg, Canada, in Manitoba, and most recently competed at the Golden Prairie Cup in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And this show is actually promoted by the phenomenal IFBB Pro Melina Williams, who I've had on the podcast last year. She's also married and has some fur babies at home. Maybe we get to see them later. That'd be cool. Kiki has been competing in bodybuilding since 2022 and has a very bright future in the sport. Welcome, Kiki, and it's great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you. Before I forget, how did you get to know Eunice at Bad Rap?
So I actually got to know her from actually hearing her on a podcast. So she was on a podcast called, and I just want to make sure I get the name right. So I wrote it down to make sure that I had the right name of it. It's called Go Figure.
Oh,
And
yes,
her
that's a
and
good
Joe
one.
were on that podcast not too long ago.
Yeah.
Talking about their background, their journey, and their company, Bad Rap,
Mm-hmm.
and just their story and their journey just really spoke to me. And I reached out and just said, I heard your podcast and I think you guys are amazing. Checked out their merchandise a little bit. Wanted to order like one tank top. I live in Canada, they're in the US, and ordering things across the border are quite a challenge.
Yeah, I
So
know.
we wound up communicating with each other and just talking and got to know each other through that. And we talked about an ambassadorship, and I wound up becoming an ambassador for them.
Terrific. That's great.
I'm just, and like their story just really spoke to me, and I'm so happy to share what they're doing for the sport and for women in the sport specifically.
And you have a Bad Rap jacket on right now, I
I
think.
do. I have one of their cropped hoodies on. I have a few items, and I get nothing but compliments on them. So it's great items too. So great story, great background of what they're trying to do, what they're promoting, and then just great merchandise too with it.
Yeah, I try to promote them as much as I can, and I have a shirt too, and probably buy some more of their merchandise later. But yeah, they do have some good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I was curious in terms of getting started in bodybuilding. Did you have an athletic or a sports background before you started?
My whole life I've played sports. I grew up playing ringette. I don't know if a lot of people know what that sport is, but it's like a hockey, but for women.
Okay.
Um, so when I was younger, that girls played that sport. So it was a ring and a straight stick instead of a puck and a hockey stick. Then
Oh,
as I
okay.
got older, I started playing hockey. And then I also played all the traditional sports like volleyball, basketball, ran track, played baseball, played slow pitch. I played competitive slow pitch. Um, so I've just always been a very active person.
That's very cool. Wow. What was the name of the ring sport
It's
again?
called ringette. So I think it's
Oh,
mostly popular in Canada. I haven't seen it too much elsewhere, but it is growing.
oh,
When I would, like I said, when I was a kid, so like 30 years ago, when I started playing, probably even before that, that was the sport that girls played. It was very
oh,
segregated. Boys played hockey, girls played ringette.
oh, interesting. I've never heard of that before. That's pretty cool. Was it on ice, like with hockey?
On ice, very similar to hockey, just there's no contact, and it was more about fair play. So you had to pass across lines, you couldn't carry it over lines. So it really was meant to involve all the players and not just have a couple of superstars running up and down or skating up and down the ice.
Oh,
It
that's
really involved
interesting.
everybody on the team.
Wow. And when you played hockey, did you play with boys, or what did you do? Women's hockey?
I would play pickup with the boys, like my husband plays too now, and so I would play with some of my friends there. So it was a combination of girls and guys. But I play on a an adult women's team as well right now, still
Oh
in
yeah.
between bodybuilding. So I don't play a lot when it's competition time. But when I'm in the off season, I play, and we play in a safe hockey league. So no hitting. It's meant to be for fun.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah.
You don't do like the cross check, smell it, slamming under the boards or something.
We still do it, but we wind up spending some time in the sin bin for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I understand. And yeah, as a bodybuilder, you probably don't want to get injured too much. You don't want
No, I
to.
definitely, my team started playing 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I said no, until I'm done competing, no, I can't risk an injury right before going on stage. So,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if the spray on tan would cover up the bruises or not.
well, I was more worried about what if I like twist my ankle and I can't put my heels on.
Oh no, yeah, that would be bad. Hopping on one foot
Mhm.
out there and it'd be rough to do. Oh man. Now how did you get started in bodybuilding, and who convinced you to do your first contest?
Well, so I started, my current coach was my lifestyles coach. So I've my whole life battled up and down with a weight loss journey,
Okay.
and COVID definitely hit me hard.
Oh yeah.
And so as we got to the end of 2020, my husband had already signed up with the same coach as a lifestyle just to help him get, move along from the whole what COVID did to pretty much everybody. And
Yeah.
I saw he was having great progress. So I wanted to sign up and be with the same coach to make life easier. Then my husband met his goals, and our coach suggested to him he could maybe do like a bodybuilding show. So I'm 100% behind him, went to go watch the show. And it was just local, it was a local regional show in Winnipeg. And I walked in and I saw the girls, and they looked feminine and strong, and they're in these gorgeous sparkling bikinis and their hair done and their makeup done and these gorgeous heels. And I looked at my coach and I'm like, I want to do that. And he said, yeah, I knew you would.
Hmm.
That's why I'm glad you came. So that was in 2021. My husband competed,
Okay.
and I had started to get towards pretty much towards my closer to my goal of where I wanted to be, health wise. And so I started training for a competition at the beginning of 2022.
Very cool. That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
haven't looked back yet since.
I bet it was tough. I talked with a few Canadian ladies that it was tough during COVID because everything was really shut down, and it was
Mhm.
hard to get to a gym, and unless you had your own home equipment and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
was
I
it
did a
was
lot of basement workouts with resistance bands and dial dumbbells that we managed to somehow win the lottery on the internet and get them, because it
really?
was hard to even get equipment. Like
Yeah, I
everywhere
know.
was sold out, and so
Wow.
so really I started my weight loss journey with resistance bands in my basement, in between gyms being open and closed.
Oh, sure. No, I understand though, but it worked though too. I mean,
It
it
did.
helped you. Yeah.
I actually still use resistance bands on the weekends when I go out to the lake, because I don't have a gym there. So I have resistance bands, and we built a pull-up bar, and that's what I do for my training on the weekends.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, the I have some dumbbells here at home, and I've kind of just
Mhm.
slowly gone up in the weights because just they're just getting too light after a while. I need to get heavier ones. So yeah, but it's helped me too, I think. So yeah.
Those resistance bands are amazing. A lot of people just kind of look, what can they do? But they've done a lot. That constant tension does a lot.
No, I know. Yeah, it is. It's really good. And the pros, use them backstage, they
Right?
to pump up and everything. So
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
I was curious, do you have a fitness role model that you look up to, or more than one?
Not really. I just kind of in the bodybuilding world, I just kind of follow along with anybody that kind of I see, and you know, shares their stories. So there's a few people I follow on Instagram and stuff like that that have a lot of really great stories. One of them is a few of the IFBB pros that I kind of follow along with in multiple divisions. So I'm not just focused on the division I compete in, but I'm very admire all the wellness and the bikini girls. Just the whole journey, no matter what division you're in, is it's a lot of work, a
It
lot
is,
of
yeah.
dedication. So
It's impressive to see the ladies. Yeah, they're and just that hard work personified, you know. Yeah. Yeah, it's
exactly.
amazing. Um, I was curious, was it tough for you to get up on stage in a bikini for the first time? Was it kind of nerve-wracking, or do you get nervous now on stage?
Um, a little bit. It was a little bit because it was definitely outside my comfort zone. Like I've always been the person that, like, even when I was at my heaviest, I still wore a bikini at the beach. My whole theory was, if you don't like it, don't look.
Yeah.
This is for me, not for you. And that was kind of the same mentality I went in. Like, my goal was to get on stage and to do, I always say every time, I did the darn thing. So get up there and just do what I came to do, which is get on stage and show what I did. But I was really nervous the first time. My husband was in the crowd watching. He had competed in that same show, but he went before me, so he was able to be in the crowd.
Okay.
And he said he could see my legs were shaking and he was afraid I was going to fall down. And then
Oh,
all of a sudden, I just kind of went, "Whew," and I was just happy and smiling, like ear to ear grin. Couldn't care less about anything else once I actually took a few steps and got comfortable.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you were wearing heels for figure, is that right? For that
Yeah,
first?
figure was the first division that I did. So I wear heels all the time, but it's much different when you're going to stand on stage in a bikini and heels with a spotlight.
Yeah.
You feel a little Bambi-ish out there and afraid that your legs are just going to give way on you. But
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
yeah, and I still
Um,
think I get that every time. I get that. I feel like if I don't get that little bit of nerves before I take the stage, something's wrong. I need to have a little bit of nerves, right?
yeah. Oh, I understand. Know you're alive, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, no, and that's just part of being a human, I think. So yeah.
Yeah. And then I fell in love with it. Like, when I got off stage, I looked at my coach. I was like, when's the next show?
Oh yeah. No, I
Like,
hear
I
that a lot.
wanted to keep going.
Yeah, the ladies get hooked on it for sure, and yeah, and want to get back to, yeah, when's the next show? I hear that a lot.
Exactly. So
I'm going to pause for just a second. I'll be right back. So, I was curious, what was your experience like at the Golden Prairie Cup, and did you get to see Melina? Because she's amazing. She's so sweet and awesome.
it was great. So this was my second time going. I did go last year as well. And I met her last year. And this year before going, I actually spoke with her just online a little bit. But even last year, she was backstage talking with all the athletes. I had an opportunity to talk with her. Same with this year. Like, she's just 110%. The show is, are the athletes happy? Like,
Mm,
I get it. Shows are meant to do well and be profitable, but once that show day starts, she couldn't care less about anything about our comfort and our happiness, and that we are getting stage time and making sure that we have a great experience.
that's terrific. Yeah, she's an amazing woman. I could definitely see her being like that, as a promoter. And she went through a weight loss journey too. She's pretty amazing.
She did, yeah, and she's just been so wonderful. Like, she's messages, she on Instagram, she shares everybody's posts. She makes sure everybody is recognized, and as long as you want to be, right? So she's just been wonderful. She even, like, makes sure this year she made sure we each got a little cheesecake cupcake that she makes, because she has a side cake company,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
every athlete got a rose
Oh, nice. That's
with
really
a
sweet.
little, like, thank you for being part of the golden show, or what, I can't remember exactly what it said, but like, just like the little touches like that were just amazing to have.
That's terrific. That's really sweet. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I thought that was interesting how she had that cake business going on too, with all that temptation. Jeez.
Oh, I know. Well, that's exactly what it is. You do all this and then afterwards you eat cake.
Oh man. But she's doing that during prep too. I'm like, geez, how do you
I
do
know. I don't know how she does all of it. So I was trying to convince her to get on stage with me. Like, come on, throw a bikini on, let's go.
Oh yeah. She's amazing. Her legs are just incredible. Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah, I hope that she will compete maybe next year again. I think
Yeah,
she took this year off.
I think she took this year off and she's building, so hope to see her up there again soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see her compete again.
Mhm.
So do you know where would you like to compete next?
So I'm up now. That was my last show for this season. So now we're just kind of building. I think Coach and I talked in January. We'll kind of figure out a plan. I might decide to go south of the border, go into the States and compete in an NPC show maybe.
Nice.
I do have a qualification to go back to our CPA Natural National Pro Qualifier again next year. I went this year in August as well. So I have a qualifications to go back to that. So that door's open. We're just going to really build until January and then make some decisions then. I might even just build right through until 2026. We'll see.
And so you've just done CPA so far?
Yeah, I've only done CPA so far. So I've done 5 shows in total, but all under the CPA, so all within Canada.
Oh, very cool. That's great.
Yeah.
And that's Canadian Physique Alliance, I think, right?
Correct. Yep.
Not certified public accountant.
I know when
Yeah.
you Google CPA, you get a variety of things that come up.
No, I know there's great competitors that come out of Canada for sure, and CPA
Absolutely.
has produced a lot of great pros through the years too. So
Believe I got an Olympian or two from Canada.
yeah, yeah, that's true. No, there has been a few. I was
Yeah.
thinking of Nikki, and now I forgot her last name, but there's a bodybuilder named Nikki that's really good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's been a few of them. And Alyssa Coppolino, she competed in the Olympia back in 2018, I think. So yeah, so
Crazy.
there's been a few of them for
A
sure.
lot of great athletes that have come from everywhere, but it's nice to see some Canadians on that big stage too.
Oh, even like going further back, like Laura Benetti and like Sharon Bruneau, there were some really amazing ladies that came out of Canada back in the day. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, Now in terms of competing, I noticed you did figure and physique. Do you have like a preference for both or one or the other, or do you
Well,
like doing both?
so my first show I did, which was the one that the very first time I competed, which would have been May of 2022, I thought I was going to be a wellness girl. I told my
Mm,
coach I was wellness. He
hmm.
looked at me and said, "No, no, you're figure." So we fought and we compromised that I would do both.
Okay.
Uh, I did wellness. I did figure. I looked at him. I'm like, I don't like wellness. I like figure. And he's like, that's what I told you.
Uh-huh.
So I did figure the next few shows, and this Golden Prairie was. I just decided after nationals. I that was in August. I decided, you know what? Why not give physique a try? So that was my first time doing physique. Was actually last weekend at the Golden Prairie Cup.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
So within 6 weeks, I figured out the posing of physique, put together because in figure, you don't have a routine. You have
Yeah,
a 15-second presentation and that's it.
that's true.
So I needed a 1 minute routine that I had to put together, and it's a 30-second presentation and it's way more poses. So it was a lot of work, but
Yeah,
I
that's
loved
true.
it. I
You
loved
liked
it.
it? That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah. You might do it again?
I think so. I think I want to do both
Yeah,
um, until I either don't grow into physique enough or I outgrow figure, one or the other.
sure. I understand. I like the physique because it does let you kind of show your creativity and show through the routine, and whereas figure is very regimented and yeah,
I
you
kind
don't.
of said too, the way I kind of looked at it was figure was I'm holding a pose, where physique, I'm flexing a pose. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of like that part too of it.
Did you like ditching the heels too? Because it's a little easier to walk around on stage, I think.
It is like I couldn't imagine doing a routine in figure with heels on. Like I just couldn't. Like that's probably why it doesn't happen, because there would just be a lot of rolled ankles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I have There has been some other like the NABA folks that did the ladies physique and heels, but I don't think they do it for their routine, but they do it for their mandatories and stuff. But I
Yeah,
think even there you could roll a heel pretty easily. Yeah, so
exactly. I think you're probably a little cautious what you're doing there. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You gotta be careful. Now, have
Yeah.
you always competed in natural shows? And
Yes, I've always been a natural athlete, and so all my shows I've done have been on the natural stream. I did last year when I did the local show. They do a natural and an open, and I did both shows just to give myself that opportunity to experience. Most of our shows in Canada, they do a one show format, so it's prejudging and finals are all wrapped into one. So I did the two shows just to kind of experience what it would be like to do prejudging, break, and then have to come back for a finals, knowing that my goal was to go to a national stage where
yeah.
that's the format.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
was more why I did the open. It wasn't so much to compete in the open, it was to have to hold my physique for a whole day.
Sure. That would you consider doing a non-natty show down the road, do you think? Or
um, I would consider competing in it, but I would still stay natural. I just
yeah,
started competing 3 years ago. At my age, I just don't think that that moving out of being natural is something that would be in my future.
sure, sure. I understand.
But
Yeah.
I'd still, I'm not, wouldn't be shy to stand next to someone who's not natural.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I got you. That's one thing I did notice is that NPC is supposed to be doing some more natural shows coming up, which is good. I think it's good that they're doing that and kind of expanding their what trying to expand to more natural competitors. I think that's a great idea. So
Exactly. I know like they have the Ben Weeder that's in November.
yeah,
And I think that what they were saying was the goal was that that would kind of almost become like a natural Olympia kind of concept at some point.
yeah, yeah.
More of that stream for those natural athletes to come to as the natural keeps building and growing.
I think that would be great. Yeah, the woman that won that with Andrea Alonso has just got an incredible physique, and she's competing at the Olympia too, in 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to
Oh,
see
can
her.
believe it's
She
that
looks
close.
amazing. Yeah, 3 weeks. It's like,
I
geez,
know.
it's all coming up so soon. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe it's coming up so soon either. It's like, wow, where did time go?
Exactly.
Now, have you sought any judge feedback on where you need to improve your physique or your presentation?
Yeah, the one thing that Melina offered at her Golden Prairie last year and this year was part of the photo video packaging was the judges critique voiceover on over your presentation video.
Oh, really?
I had
Wow.
that last year, which was wonderful. And I actually they offered it as well this year at our natural nationals. I'm just waiting to get that. It's such a big show that I get. It hasn't come yet, but the show was only 6 weeks ago. So there was almost 300 competitors at it. So I can see even if half got that, it's going to take a long time to do. But
Yeah.
I did get feedback, and then I've also just sought out that feedback with that conversation post show as well.
Okay.
Um, and some of the feedback they've given me was just in regards to that was like my shape. I'm naturally wider in my midsection, so I just need to continue to build my upper and my lower to give myself more of that X frame look
Sure.
and
Yeah.
posing, which, yep, I agree. I need to keep working on my posing, and I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't need to keep working on it. So,
Oh, yeah. No, I know it's important to practice that and perfect it. Yeah. And I,
exactly. So,
that's really cool though about the voiceover video. And I
yeah.
haven't heard of judges doing that before. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it was super awesome, and I have it to keep, so I got to hear like what they had to say, and just really like as I'm doing it, so they would say, "And right there, you need to do this, you need to do that." So it was really great feedback to get.
Wow, that's terrific. That's really cool. I would love to
Yeah.
see that more actually. Yeah.
It's a great option because after the show, like I did it this year, like just after the show on the weekend, we went and talked to the head judge, but he just judged an open show and a natural show, and like no, like he was tired. I don't blame him. Like
Yeah, I understand.
we'll send in like photos and give him time to send us proper feedback once he can like actually have had some rest and give feedback. So
Totally. No, that makes sense. No, definitely. I think that's great though that they do that.
mhm.
That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
haven't heard of NPC or IFBB doing that. But yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, the fact you can rewatch it later. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
Um, I was curious, what would you say is your favorite muscle group on your physique, and which muscle group is your least favorite or needs the most improvement?
I would definitely say like my legs are my favorite. They're also my strongest point. So, and that comes from my background of sports. All my sports have been requiring a lot of use of lower legs. If you look at hockey players, they have very strong legs.
Yeah,
So
I know.
growing up on the ice, basically, I think I started skating when I was like 4.
Really?
So growing
Wow.
up on the ice, my legs have just always kind of dominated. And being a figure athlete now wanting to move into physique, upper body's huge. So
Yeah.
that's the area I needed to improve the most on, and that's my favorite area to work out. I used to love leg day because I felt strong and powerful, but now I love back day. It is my favorite. Back and shoulder is my two favorite body parts to work out now.
Terrific. That's very cool. Yeah, I understand. That totally makes sense
Mhm.
too with hockey and having
Yeah.
more leg development. Yeah. That's very cool. Hmm.
Yeah. I still work them just as hard as everywhere else, but I definitely have seen more growth in my back and my shoulders than I have in my legs. And that's just because there was more room for growth. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. I was curious, you mentioned you have a coach. Who are you working with now?
So there's a wellness company locally in Winnipeg that kind of they do have coaches all over the place, and they work with um, lifestyle clients and competitors from all over, but they're local to Winnipeg. So they're called GFit Wellness. And my coach is Brett Riffle, and he is one of the coaches through that. He started as my lifestyle coach, but he was a bodybuilder himself. He has competed, he's been on the stage. So he also does competition coaching. So
Okay.
he coached my husband, he's coached myself, he has coached me to the stage every single time and has been there at every single show with me and has traveled with me to every show that I have done.
Really? Wow, that's terrific. Wow, that very nice.
Yeah, he just spent 8 hours in a car each way with me last weekend.
Wow, that's so
And the whole
nice.
weekend with me.
That's
So
very cool. That's a good, yeah, that's going above and beyond, I think, for a coach
yeah,
sometimes too.
he
Yeah, they
he's been great with that, and he's very very knowledgeable and explains a lot to me. I have a lot of questions because I want to understand. At some point in my life, I wouldn't mind getting into lifestyle coaching. So
sure.
he answers a lot of questions for me, just so I can understand better as well.
That's terrific. That's great. Um, I'll ask you later, after the interview, to send his Instagram handle, and then I'll
Absolutely.
include it in the description in case people want to reach out to him.
Yeah.
Does he work with online clients too?
Yeah, he does that whole company works with online and local. So there are some coaches that have only worked with their lifestyle or competitors online. So
That's great. No, very
yeah.
cool. Now, do you have
Yeah.
a posing coach too?
So when I first started, Brett was my posing coach as well. Then I discovered I needed someone who, not that he doesn't know and can't help me. We did a lot of like internet searching, YouTube video watching, but I wanted someone who did it. So I actually had started following Autumn Cleveland, who's an IFBB figure pro,
Yeah,
and I just loved her look and her story too, and the fact that she had to do a lot of growth to get where she was. She was small, didn't have a lot of muscle development, and really grew. So she does posing. So I did online posing with her. And then I also, through my GFit Wellness, I had made friends with one of the coaches, and she used to compete as well. So she helped me out with some posing, so someone hands on. And then just before I went to nationals, there's also was a male IFBB pro that's in Winnipeg, um, Aaron Amari, who's actually competing this weekend. He did some posing with me as well before I went to the national stage.
oh, that's terrific. That's great. Are you still working with Autumn too? Because I remember, I know her. She's really she's amazing actually. Great physique.
She is. So she has the course that you can get. So I got her course. So I've gone back and reviewed her videos and that, but I haven't done any video sessions with her since the first time I did.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
But
Yeah.
I still reference back to her materials, which have been great, and they're great reminders with some really good cueing. So
I think it's her, I don't know if it's her husband or boyfriend, but she's done some really cute videos with um where the boyfriend's trying to keep her under control and she's like, I'm hungry.
no, they're hilarious. And I think I saw on their Instagram like they're getting married this weekend or next weekend or something like
Oh,
that.
really? Oh, terrific. Wow. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're so cute together and I love their videos. They're funny.
they are. They're hilarious.
Oh man. And is you said Omari, is he competing at Titans? The
I think that's the one he's doing. I think so. He
down in
did one
California?
2 weeks. I think so. He did one 2 weeks ago, and now he's doing another one. I'd have to double check which one it is.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's
But
great.
yeah, so he was great. In again, autumn was great, but it was virtual, and it was kind of nice to have someone who was live as well. So I kind of had the best of all the worlds. I have some videos to look at. I had a figure pro work with me virtually, and then I had some people work with me in person.
That's terrific. That's really good. I think, yeah, having an in-person person or coach to work with is really good, I think.
Absolutely.
I've heard that from other folks. Very cool. I was curious, what would you say is the most challenging aspect for you?
For prep, food.
Food, yeah, I
I
understand.
think everybody's going to say that. It gets restrictive. Um, you know what you got to do, and not that you don't know what you have to do in the off season, but you have that flexibility. And when you're in prep, like I did 26 weeks of prep this year between
Wow,
my
really?
shows. That was a long time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And I love food.
Yeah.
So I missed a lot of that. So that I think was the hardest part. I love going to the gym. I get up at 3:30 every day, and go to the gym. That's not the hard part for me. The cardio is not hard for me. The weightlifting is not hard for me. I think it's hard when you really just want something and you can't have it. Again, it's
Yeah.
a choice I made, but it's still, I wish I could have that, but I can't. So I'll have it later.
I know I've talked to a few ladies who say that food is not an issue, but they're masochists, I think, because they're
They're lying.
I would think so. I just think that that's got to be the toughest part, I would think. And
Yeah. Like
I
to
think
me,
that
that's what it is. Like, I did an hour of stairs for 2 weeks straight every day. That was
wow.
nothing but having to not have potlucks or be at a family meal and pulling my Tupperware out. That was hard.
Yeah, I understand.
Mhm.
I think the food is just kind of monotonous too, for prep and it just
Yeah,
gets kind of boring after a while, I would think too. So
it
yeah.
does. It's also easy because I just batch cook and you eat the same thing all the time. But
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'd like that. um, um, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but in terms of women's physique, so you're going to try to do both going forward, right?
yeah, I think I'm going to keep exploring both. Until, like I said, until one just isn't a good viable option for me. Like again,
Yeah,
I love being on stage, but I also am now getting to the point where I want to be on stage in the right division at the right time.
yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Not a cheap sport.
No, it's not cheap at all. I know it's expensive. Yeah,
Exactly. So I want to get a
yeah,
little more choosy now about when I spend that money on it.
yeah, yeah. I totally understand that. No,
Mm.
I know it is. It's very expensive. I was curious. Could you give what advice could you give to ladies who are listening in who are looking for a good coach based on your experience?
Um, I'm very comfortable with my coach. I say my coach has now become my friend. Like I've been working with him since 2020. So he knows me. And who else do you send photos to at some point on almost a daily basis of you in a bathing suit?
Yeah.
Right? So you need to be comfortable with that person. So um I would not just rush to someone because they maybe had an athlete that performed well. right? Yes, they coach them, but like you need to be comfortable with them. You need to be prepared to work with them, listen to them, take feedback from them, and they need to be able to hear you and the feedback from you too. So it's two ways. And if you're not comfortable, then maybe you need to move on
Hmm.
and try
Yeah.
someone else, but also give them a chance. Like, they're also not magicians.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So,
I've talked with athletes who don't even necessarily follow their coach's advice, but then they kind of hold themselves back in a sense because
right.
they're not sticking with the plan, you know. Um,
Exactly. Like
yeah.
you got to look at, was it the plan or was it the execution of the plan?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
You have
Yeah,
to be honest with yourself on where if it fell apart, why did it fall apart?
yeah,
You
that
not
makes sense.
honest with your coach? Did you not follow your coach's plan? Like I tell my coach, he loves that when I say this, but I'm like, Coach, we had a snack accident. I got into the pantry. Here's what happened. Because he has to know, because otherwise he thinks that what he gave me to eat on my plan or what he told me to do isn't working and he's going to make change where I went and ate, 5 Oreos and a sleeve of rice cakes. Like he needs to know that that's what I did.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. And be honest with about it. Yeah, it's the um yeah, no, I like. Oh, I was gonna say I like the term snacksident. That's kind of funny.
I think he burst out laughing the first time I said that. I'm like, we had a snack accident. He's like, how bad? What? And I'm like, got into the protein bars. He's like, okay, what do we do? I'm like, well, I had two. He goes, which ones did you have? And I told him, he's like, oh, that's fine. We're good. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, good.
He's like, he thought I like ate like a box of chocolate bars or something. So,
Oh yeah, no, no. No, that's cool. That's good that you're honest, upfront about that too, Yeah. And I think you're right that the coach needs to know that kind of thing. So
right. Or else they're going to make changes based on what they think you've been doing.
yes,
And
true.
that's not what you've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Mhm.
Now, tell me, I forgot, what's your husband's name?
Reese.
Reese? Oh, very cool. Yeah. And it sounds like he's really supportive of your bodybuilding efforts.
He is. And he's actually, the show I just did, the Golden Prairie I just came back from, was the first time he actually wasn't there for a show, whether he was competing or just with me.
Oh, yeah.
So it was the first time I went and did a show that he wasn't physically there. So
Oh,
it felt
really?
weird.
Oh, it's kind of weird not to have him there, I bet. Huh?
Yeah, like he was obviously a text message, phone call away, but it just was the first time that he wasn't physically present. So
Does he usually yell for you in the audience?
yeah, and well, up until this last show, he was competing as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Would y'all usually prep for the same show?
Yeah, well, actually, no, there was two shows. The last year, May, I did a show without him, but he was there.
Okay.
And then we did Golden Prairie together last year, and then he came to my show in August, but he didn't come to the Golden Prairie this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was thinking if y'all prep together, y'all get like hangry together and be like fisticuffs.
Oh
Ah,
yeah, that
no.
was fun. Our first prep together. Yeah.
That'd be tough to do, I bet,
Oh, and it was his second prep and my first prep. So at least he had already had one under his belt and kind of knew how I was probably going to feel on it. So he had some compassion and understanding for how I was.
Oh yeah, that's good though. Yeah, that's true. He could relate for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, Now I know you mentioned you don't have kids, but you have the two fur babies.
I do. You probably heard the couple of times some barking here or there. They
I
like
did,
to be heard.
yeah. That sounds pretty cute. What type of dogs do you have?
So I have toy American Eskimos. So they're white, fluffy dogs with pointy ears and black noses. Very cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
Very vocal.
Oh, are they? Oh, it's so cute though. Yeah. How big, like how many pounds are they? They must be small.
Around 20 pounds. So not that big.
Yeah, that's cute. Do they have the little, is that the curly tail?
Yeah, they have the curly tail. So like a Samoyed is like a bigger version of them, basically.
Oh yeah, those are really cute. Oh,
They're
that's
they're gorgeous. They shed a lot.
I bet. Yeah.
And they're
But
very smart.
I bet 20 pounds though, that's kind of a nice, kind
It's
of
a good
nice
little
size.
size. I can pick them up and move them out of my way easy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Some of the Huskies get kind of big, I know.
Yes.
Now I was curious, are your parents still alive?
My mom is. She lives actually on the West Coast in BC now.
Oh yeah.
Um, but she did live here. Like I was born here, so she moved when she retired to go live with her sister.
Hmm. Does she support your bodybuilding efforts?
Oh yeah, she's super happy, and of course, she just says all the time, "I know you're gonna win because you work so hard."
Nice.
And I
Very
said,
good.
if only that was what it took to win.
Uh-huh. How about, does she try to come to your shows too, or has she been able to?
No, she hasn't traveled to come see my shows. And anytime she's come to visit, I kind of said to her, you know what, you probably don't want to be here when I'm prepping for a show because
Yeah.
it's no fun.
Oh
So if
yeah.
you come visit, it's probably better to visit when I'm in my off season.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Maybe you could go do a show in BC.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
Coach and I have mentioned that there's some good shows out there too. So
Yeah, the Vancouver Island and the Vancouver show are both
because
are,
yeah, they have the van. It's there's the pro and the amateur there, and then yeah, they have the island one too. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
never
cool.
know, I might.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and I was curious with Winnipeg is like how big is the metro area there? How many people?
I think we're just under a million or
Oh, okay. So that's pretty
getting
good
close
size.
to it.
Is do you find that there's a strong bodybuilding community there or
Well, until I got into it, I didn't realize that there was a community. But I think now that I'm in it, I've just kind of drawn myself towards it.
yeah.
I have some friends at the local gym that I go to. The gym I go to is has a lot of equipment that bodybuilders and power lifters are very interested in. It's more
Okay.
focused at that. It's not the what do you call it? The cookie cutter or the like commercial gym. It's a privately owned gym with the different equipment. So I've connected with some bodybuilding friends there, and especially the morning crew. You're always very connected with each other because it's early and you know like-minded souls that are there at 4 a.m. bond
Yeah.
very easily.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. To get up that early, that's
But
impressive. Yeah.
yeah. And then I find that we all kind of follow each other on Instagram and stuff like that, and we'll throw little comments at each other and that. So, I haven't had any negativity from it at all. It's always been positive and encouraging, and that's what I love about the sport. At first, when I got into it, I thought a whole bunch of girls competing against each other. Like you think of like a mean girls mentality that someone's hoping that they like fall on their face. And instead it's like, girl, let me help you. Let me fix that. Let me fix your hair. Let me fix this. Like, this is at a place. Here, let me give you some tips. Like it's just very supportive. What do you need? We all want to look our best out there. And it's not that like negativity that a lot of people think there would be.
I agree with you on that. No, I think it's very positive for the most part
Mm.
with the ladies, and there's not a lot of cattiness, and it's more of definitely like iron sisterhood because because what y'all do, I mean, not everybody can do what you do, and or don't have the gumption or the you know, maybe can't even afford to do it too, So having the resources to be able to do it, I think is great. And yeah, no, I was thinking with Winnipeg too, you got win in the title of the name.
Right?
That's a good thing. That's a lot of winners down
Exactly.
there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and well, we do have a couple of pros that bodybuilding pros here. So it's kind of cool to start to see that and to go, a local person went and got their card. So that's exciting. And you hear about it. Everybody hears about it, right? When that
Oh,
happens. So
I bet. Yeah,
as much
that's a big
as,
deal.
the city's growing, it's still kind of got that small town feel to it where everybody knows somebody. There's like that only a couple degrees of separation here, and you know somebody who knows somebody, and that's about as far as it goes.
Oh, sure. I understand. I bet
Yeah.
it's pretty up there too. I just like Canada. Canada's just really a nice
Oh,
place to visit. And I've been to Toronto a few times and to Hamilton, and yeah, I've always enjoyed my time there. So it's nice. Yeah.
The prairies are a little quieter than Toronto, but
Yeah, Toronto is a pretty good sized city, like kind of
Mhm.
New York of Canada kind of thing, I think.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. And Niagara Falls too. Of course, I've been there. That's a fun place to go to.
I
So,
haven't been there yet, if you can believe that. So
oh, really?
someday,
Oh, well.
someday maybe.
The Canadian side's a lot nicer than the American side. The American side's kind of shitty. Not very nice. No. Um, no, that's cool. No, I think that's um a harbinger of things to come, like have Win in the Winnipeg, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going with that now. I'm going to use that.
Um, I just have a few more questions for you. I was curious, do you ever find yourself like the target of fit shaming? And I'm amazed that y'all even have to go through that, but do you ever just get nasty looks or, meanness when you're out in public?
Yeah, I think I get it more, and I don't think it's that anybody's trying to be mean about it, but like friends and coworkers commenting about what I'm eating or what I'm not eating.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of that, like, comments like, well, why can't you just have that? Why can't you just have that? And I've gotten to the point now where I just look at them and I say, you know what? If I told you I was allergic to that, would you ask me to eat it? No. So why can't you just respect that I don't eat it right now?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I'm not in prep and I do have something, then I get the comments of, oh my gosh, look, she's eating a piece of pizza. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, could you just not comment on what I'm eating? Because I don't comment on what you eat.
Yeah. I bet that gets kind of frustrating, huh?
It
Yeah.
it does. Like that's the hardest part is that, or I have had a couple people that said, I didn't want you to feel left out. And I'm like, well, I felt more left out that you didn't invite me than you didn't want me to feel left out coming and not being able to participate in the food portions. Like
Oh,
I
sure.
can
Yeah.
come and hang out. Like it's fine.
Yeah. I totally understand that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. That's one thing I did forget to put in my questions for you, but do you have a full-time job outside of bodybuilding?
I do. I work full time in human resources in healthcare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I have some kind of side things I do. I work with an online athleisure wear, we'll call it. I'm an independent rep with them. It's like Zaya Active. It's a clothing line that's exclusively online.
Hmm.
I'm working towards getting my nutrition certification. I'm just starting that. So it's got a billion things in the air.
That's cool.
I
Very
can't
cool.
sit still.
Oh, that's very cool. That's awesome. So, like, somebody gets in trouble at your workplace, they like go to you, your HR.
Yeah, and that gets fun as you get deeper into prep because the patience gets lower and lower. So I have to definitely make sure I check my mood on a regular.
I understand. No, that's cool. Yeah, HR's got to be cool and collected, So,
Exactly.
yeah. That's very cool. And I
Mhm,
was curious, how did you meet Eunice from Bad Rap? And because I know that
mhm.
their Eunice and JoJo's mission is to help female bodybuilders, and I've seen them feature you a few times on their stories and stuff, which is great to see.
Yeah, so that was through that podcast Go Figure that I heard them. They did an interview on it.
Yeah,
And I reached out because I just wanted to comment on how amazing their story was, their journey was, and what they were doing. And Eunice, oh my God, what a sweetheart. Like she just basically was like, come be my friend. And we just kind of kept chatting. And I wound up becoming an ambassador with them. I just fell in love with their story. And so, and what they're trying to do. Like I'm fortunate that I have the means to be able to compete and go to shows and compete, but I understand that there's probably a lot of people out there with amazing potential, but maybe don't have the funds to be able to do it.
yeah,
I
that's true.
love what they're doing, and if I can keep sharing and getting it out there, what they do to try to help them be able to do that, doesn't hurt me to post about it and have them share it. So
Terrific. Yeah. Yeah, Eunice is really amazing lady, and it's yeah, just um, in terms of um, just all the work that she does on behalf of women's bodybuilding and promoting it. I think it's been terrific. So
And she's been
yeah.
kind of like that, like my prep friend in it as well. Like she's checked in on me as I get closer to show. After both shows I've done this year, she's messaged me the next day. How
Hmm.
are you doing? How are you feeling? Because she knows what it's like post show.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it's
true.
it's tough. Like I've had all the feelings after every show. It's always been a little bit different, but it's like now what? Right? Like I
Yeah,
just like I said, I spent 26 weeks, half a year prepping, and now it's like it's over. Now what? So
yeah.
she's
I think
mindful of that. She's been through it. So
that's true. Yeah, I think that post-show blues can be kind of tough, I think sometimes. And
so
yeah,
and she doesn't have to reach out and check in on me. Like I'm not she's not my coach. She's not my anything but like someone that I've connected with online, but she's just amazing and reaches out and checks on me and sees how I'm doing. And
that's terrific.
yeah.
Yeah, she's really amazing. Yeah, I like her. And I know she
Mhm.
was looking forward to seeing this interview. So give her a shout out.
Oh,
Hey, Eunice.
oh, she's so awesome. I'm so excited for her to see it and hear all the things that we've talked about. So
Awesome. Yeah, she's terrific. Um, we talked a little bit about this in terms of your weight loss journey. But could you talk a little bit more about it, like how weight training and kind of healthy eating has helped really, change your life?
yeah, when I started working with my coach Brett, I have gone up and down and up and down and up and down. So before I started prepping for my first show, I think I lost 50 pounds before I got to that point.
Wow.
I joke all the time with him and I said, actually, I've probably lost 400 pounds because I kept losing and gaining and losing and gaining and losing and gaining.
Really?
This
Yeah.
time it's now a lose and keep it off.
Yeah. That's good.
So now to date, I probably am closer to the like 70 pounds total loss,
That's
75.
great.
Yeah. And with bodybuilding, it goes up and down and it doesn't scare me as much anymore. Like in
Yeah.
the past, I'd see the scale go up and it would scare me, and then I would react negatively about it and it would go even worse. Now I
Yeah.
know it's what happens in the off season. You put on a little bit because, and as my coach said, he goes, you can't mold anything if you don't have the clay. So,
Yeah. That's true. It's called bodybuilding for a reason because you're
right,
building your physique and yeah, exactly. So
exactly. So,
that's great. 70
yeah.
pounds is really good.
And it all started like as I was a lifestyle client, and I said, you know what? I want to do this for good this time. So I posted online every day. I posted a sweaty selfie
Right.
on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care if anybody liked it or commented on it. It didn't matter. But in the back of my head, I was like, the day I don't post something is that someone out there is going to go, see, I knew she'd fail.
Mm.
And whether they said it to me or not, it's what kept me going to not want someone to think that I couldn't follow through on what I said I was going to do. And then I
Yeah.
did the same thing when I said I was going to go on stage. I got to do this. I said, I'm going to do it. I put it out there in the universe. I got to fulfill it now.
That's great. No,
Yeah.
that's a good way to try to kind of motivate yourself. And
Mhm.
I liked what I think you mentioned in the profile you sent me about the sweaty selfies and
Yeah.
yeah, how long do you still post those every day?
I still post every single morning. I take a photo after my workout and I go, today was back shoulders and here's a couple photos of it. And I tag the gym that I go to. And a lot of people, we all tag the gym and the gym reshares us. So we see everybody's work, everybody's post.
Okay.
It's just kind of what we all do now. And I've just carried on doing it.
That's awesome. I think that's terrific. That's very cool. Yeah, that's and a great way to motivate other people too. I think that's nice.
Yeah. And I've gotten a few comments from people saying, keep sharing, like us seeing you progress, and that is encouraging me to want to do it. And I'm like, well, that's wasn't my original intent, but I'm glad that it's had a positive effect on people. Originally, it was to keep me accountable.
Yeah, no, I can see where that's motivating other people though, and friends and stuff. That's terrific. I think that's great.
Mhm.
Um, I was curious, did you ever used to watch I guess maybe not because you're relatively new to bodybuilding, but bodybuilding on TV back in the day, and ESPN and NBC used to show it.
Yeah, no, I never saw it when it was like widespread broadcast. The only times I've watched it is like I've watched the Arnold Classic recently on like the pay-per-views or the online streaming and the Olympia, but
Yeah,
like older in the day.
I would love to see it back on TV again because I think it could inspire people to want to get in the gym and work out and you know improve their lives and make themselves healthier. But it's
Mhm.
just been years since it's really been on TV. The only thing is the pay-per-view, but that's bodybuilders and their families and friends that are buying that. It's not really the general public that are buying it, I think. But yeah,
It,
I just think it could inspire more people to get into it if they
it
saw it on
was,
TV.
yeah, if it
Like
was
it,
more kind of like accessible, easy to just stumble across,
yeah,
it might draw some more people into it and be like, oh, what's this? Like,
hmm.
let's check it out. Yeah.
Because back in the day, people would say that. Some of the female bodybuilders would say, "Oh, I saw it on the Ms. Olympia on ESPN, and it inspired me." Now, it just that's not there anymore. So unfortunately, and
It would be
they have.
great if it did come and go back to that.
I
Absolutely.
know, I know. I've been pushing it. This I'm getting on my soapbox about it, but I I just think it would be good thing to have come back and yeah, maybe eventually it will. Maybe with like a big sponsor, a big name like The Rock or Dave Batista or something like that. So um
Yeah, that maybe. Here's hoping.
yeah, I know. I'm hoping too, so we'll have to see. But yeah, I did remember back in the day when it was more popular on TV and it was um definitely inspired a lot of folks. Um, so just in conclusion, I was wondering if there's anything that I missed that you'd like to address or anybody that you'd like to shout out.
No, well, anybody who knows me, especially like my GFIT family, my gym family at Apollo Gym, love you guys. And my hubby, he's so supportive. So he gets his
Awesome.
own special shout out.
What was the name of the gym again?
Atalo.
Atalo. Oh, very
Yeah,
cool. Have to send me that on the when you
yeah,
on
I'll
Instagram too. I'll
include
make
that
sure to
as
include
well.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you spell that?
Atalo.
ATO. Oh, okay, cool. Very cool. Um, and I was curious, if there's and do you have any sponsors currently? I know you're working with Bad Rap, of course, but
Yeah,
um,
I'm an ambassador with them. And then we have a supplement company that I'm ambassador with as well called Supplement World,
okay.
all across Canada. And then so there's a store in Winnipeg that I work with. I was actually with them last night. We did a little team lift together. So more of a hangout than anything, but it was nice to connect with them all. And
Terrific.
then I work with GFIT like as in I'm a client of theirs, but I do have had a few people I know sign up and work with them as well. So
Oh yeah. Oh, very cool. Awesome. That's great. As like a coach.
um like I've mostly just kind of guided people towards them and recommended a coach that I've gotten to know through the company, but I
Oh,
definitely feel very connected with that with GFIT. So
that's great. And the clothing company you mentioned too that you're independent distributor.
I'm an
What's
independent rep. It's called Zaya Active.
how do you spell that?
ZYIA.
Zaya Active. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so it started in the US, moved into Canada as well, and they also have now recently moved into Australia. So they're slowly expanding to countries.
Very cool. That's awesome. How long have you worked with them?
I think it's been since 2020. I joined working with them when I started my weight loss journey, knowing I'd need clothes.
Yeah.
So I've been working with them ever since and, started selling to my friends who expanded to the friends of friends and friends of friends of friends. So I have a little bit of a client base with them as well.
Oh, terrific. That's great. Very cool.
Yeah.
I just want before we go too, I want to give a shout out. You got your medals behind you from your different shows, right?
Yeah. My side and that's hubby side.
Oh, very cool. Oh, that's great. Yeah. And a few posters up on the wall too. That's
Yeah, I
nice.
got some posters and then we have some, our first shows are in display cases. So we have photos and our first medals of each of our first times being on stage. And then these are the rest of the other
Oh,
adventures.
nice. Oh, I can see a little bit of that. Yeah, that's terrific. That's really nice. Yeah. Um, well, thank you so much, Kiki. It's really nice to meet you. And like I said, I'll try to get this posted probably tomorrow, and I'll tag you, of course. But and we'll
Amazing.
include some of the companies and the gym and coaches that we mentioned down below too. So
Yeah, I'll send you all the Instagram info for all of them.
yeah, please do. Yeah, that would be terrific. Thank you.
Awesome. Well,
It was
thank
good
you so
speaking with
much
you.
for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you. It was great speaking with you. And I think I'm excited for Eunice to see this interview too, see how she reacts.
Me too. Oh,
She's so awesome.
she is.
Thanks. Thanks, Kiki. Take care.
You too.